Today, we're going to break down how a really powerful psychological method called cognitive behavioral therapy, or CBT for short, can give you the tools to understand and manage anger and put you back in control. You know that feeling, right? That sudden, hot surge of anger that feels like it just takes over, making decisions for you? It's a super common feeling, but here's the good news. It doesn't have to be the one in charge. So let's start with a massive idea from psychologist Albert Ellis. This quote right here, it's the foundation for everything we're going to talk about. It's not just the event, but our view of the event that really creates how we feel. And that idea, that is the absolute core of cognitive behavioral therapy. It's all about that powerful, direct link between what we think and how we feel. Getting a handle on this connection is your first real step toward changing your relationship with anger. So, what even is anger? Well, first things first, let's be super clear. Anger itself isn't bad. Not at all. It's a normal, healthy human emotion. It exists on a whole spectrum, from just being a little annoyed to full-blown rage. Feeling it is just part of being human. And that brings us to a really, really important distinction. Anger is not the same thing as aggression. Anger is the internal feeling. Aggression, on the other hand, is the external behavior. And while that feeling might pop up automatically, your behavior, that's a choice. Separating these two in your mind is where you start to take your power back. All right, before we build any new skills, let's just bust a few common myths. First, it's not true that anger is just something you inherit and can't change. And that whole idea of venting, screaming or hitting a pillow, well, research actually shows that can reinforce aggressive habits. It basically just makes you better at being angry, not better at managing it. So, if our thoughts are what create our feelings, how do we actually work with those thoughts? Well, that brings us to our main tool for today, the ABCD model. It sounds a little academic, but trust me, it's a simple and incredibly powerful way to make a real change. And here it is. The beauty of this thing is how simple it is. It's a 4-step process. That's it. It's designed to help you hit pause on that automatic emotional reaction so you can consciously choose a different path. So let's walk through each step together. Okay, theory is one thing, but to really get how this works, let's use a common, everyday example. One I'm pretty sure most of us can relate to. First up is A for activating event. This is the trigger. It's just the thing that happens out in the world, the situation that kicks everything off. Okay, so let's imagine this. You're driving along, maybe listening to some music, and all of a sudden another car just swerves right in front of you. You have to slam on the brakes, your heart jumps. That's our A. That's the activating event. Now, the next step is the most important part of this whole thing. It's B for belief. See, the car cutting you off doesn't make you angry. The anger is created by what you immediately tell yourself about it, that internal self-talk that happens in a flash. And our minds are so fast, right? In that split second, our beliefs can sound a lot like this. These rigid demands like, people shouldn't drive like that. Or these big generalizations, they have no respect for anyone. These thoughts are the fuel for that emotional fire. And those beliefs, they lead directly to C, for consequences. These are the results, how you feel and what you do, that flow directly from your thoughts, not from the car cutting you off. So because you believed that driver is a reckless jerk who doesn't respect anyone, you get these consequences. Emotionally, intense anger. Physically, your heart's pounding, your knuckles are white on the steering wheel. And behaviorally, maybe you lay on the horn or yell something. Okay, so far this has all been happening on autopilot, but right here, this is where you take back the steering wheel. D stands for dispute. This is the part where you actively, consciously challenge those automatic, unhelpful beliefs. You basically get to argue with yourself in a good way. So how do you do it? How do you dispute that thought? You just ask yourself a few simple but really powerful questions. You pause and you ask, is this thought actually helpful right now? Is it 100% true? Is there any other way to look at this situation? A good dispute just shifts your perspective. So instead of, that driver is a jerk, you might think, whoa, maybe they're rushing to the hospital. That was really scary, but I'm okay. Me getting enraged isn't helping anything. It's not about pretending you're not upset. It's about finding a more balanced thought. And that new thought naturally leads to calmer feelings and way more controlled actions. So that's the ABCD model. But look, knowing it is one thing. Like any new skill, its real power comes from practice. So let's talk about how you can actually start using this in your own life. The best way to start is actually not in the heat of the moment. Start by looking back. Think about a time last week you got angry. Grab a notebook and write down the A, the B, and the C. Then, take your time and really think about a good D, a strong, believable dispute. This is like practice for your brain, so you're ready for the next time it happens for real. If you take away just one thing from all of this, let it be this: you have a choice. This isn't about never feeling angry again. It's about learning to have control over your thoughts so that you can choose how to respond instead of just letting an automatic reaction make the choice for you.
And finally, a really important note. While the ABCD model is a powerful tool you can use on your own, it's always most effective when you have some guidance. Think of this as a great starting point for a conversation with your doctor or your therapist. They can help you apply these skills in a way that works best for you, and they can also discuss other options that might be part of your overall treatment plan, which sometimes can include medications to help with intense emotions. The most important step is just starting that conversation.